to explain about a static keyword in Java. What is the importance of the static keyword and why we use static keyword in Java? In last class, I explained about the constructor concept in Java, why we use constructors. Okay, what is the importance of the constructor in Java? Generally, the constructors are the same name as class name, which is used to initialize the objects. Okay, and what is the major difference between method and constructor? The constructor will be called automatically when the object is created. Okay, we have seen in the last class. In today's class, I explain about the static keyword in Java. Then the static keyword is used mainly for the memory management. You know it. Okay, because the static variable, whenever the variable is declared as a static, the memory will allocated only once. If we created the 100 object, but only one times the memory should be allocated to the static variable. I will tell you. Then the static keyword can be used for the following. The variable, the static can be used with the variable, static keyword can be used with the method, the static keyword can be used with the block, and the static keyword can also be used with the nested class. Okay, at the time of telling the nested class, I will tell the last concept. In today's class, what is the static variable, what is the static method, and what is the static block. Here, the static variable is also called as the class variable. Okay, the class method is also called as the static method, and static method is also called as the class method. The instance variable is different than static variable or class variable. Both are having the same meaning. Please don't confuse. But what is the importance of the static variable? When the variable is declared as a static, what is the differences between the normal variable and static variable? Every student, everyone must know it, must knows about it. What is the difference between normal variable and static variable? A static variable can be declared using the static keyword, yes, because what is the syntax of it? The static, then return type. Return type is called as nothing but data type, then variable name. In normal variable is the variable is does not declare as a static, but here we use the static keyword for variable declaration. That is why this is called as the static keyword. Sorry, static variable. Here, if you remove the static, that is belongs to the normal variable. It is also called as what? Instance variable. The second point is that a static variable can be used to refer the common property of all objects. Yeah. When we come to the second statement, the static variable value can be shared to the all the objects of the class. Whenever the static variable value is initialized, that value can be shared to the all objects of its class. Okay. If you create the 100 object to a particular class, the 100 object can share the static variable value. Because when you come to the student example, the college is a common property to all the students. Each student is having the unique ID that is called as the roll number. Because the college is common to all students at that time, the college simply can be declared as a static because the memory will be allocated only once. Otherwise, whenever the object has created to a class, the memory will get allocated to the particular variable. If it is a static, then the memory will get allocated only once. Then not the static keyword can't be used for all the applications. When it is required, then only you can able to use the static keyword. Because in this example, the college is common. The college does not change. That's why simply it can be declared as a static. It is common property to all the students. Okay, I will tell you with help of the example. Please wait. The static variable can be used to refer to the common property of all objects. I gave the real-time example also. It gets memory only once at the time of class loading, because already as I told you, the memory will be allocated only once when the memory will be allocated to the static variable at the time of loading the class. Generally, the normal variable, the instance variable of the class, when the memory will be allocated to the instance variable of a class, whenever you create the object to a class, then only the memory should be allocated to the instance variables of a class. But in the static is different. Okay, how the memory will be allocated to the static variable, whenever the class is loading, at that time only the memory should be allocated to the static variable. That is the difference. Please everyone keep in your mind. Then these three statements about the static variable. Got my point? Then static method. There are two uses of the static method. The first of all, the method can be declared as a static. Then static return type method name arguments. Okay. What is the syntax for the static? Then return type or data type. What is called method name. Then arguments or parameters. Then body of the then what are the two advantages of the static keyword? Then it can be invoked without need of the creating the object. Yes, that is the major advantage of the static method is the static methods are called without need of the object. It can be called with the help of the class name. Class name dot static method. That's why the main method compulsory declared as a static, public static void main. That's why the method will be called without need of the object. Got my point? That's why whenever the method is declared as static, we need to call those methods without creating the object to a class. Okay, that is the use. How do you call? By using the class name. Okay, within the same class it is not required also. If you call it from another class, how do you call the static method? The class name dot method name. Method name should be static. How do you invoke the static methods? By using the class name. This is the syntax for it. The class name dot method name followed by the arguments. Then another use of the static method is that it can access only static members. Members means either static variable or static methods. From the static method, we can able to access only static variable or static method. But non-static members can't be accessed by the static method. Got my point? I will tell you at the time of writing the example. I will tell you. There are the two advantages of the static method. One is to call the static method without need of an object, and the static method can access only static variable and another static method. When you come to the static block, I look at here, it used to initialize the static variable. Generally, the static block can be used to initialize the static variable. Okay, whenever the static variable is there, if you want to initialize the static variable, generally as a programmer we can able to use static block. Why we use the static block means it is executed before the main method, because the static block can be called at the time of loading the class only. The static block will be executed. Got my point? That's why generally the static block can be used to initialize the static variable. First one is initialize the static variable, then it is executed before the main method. When it will be executed at the time of loading the class only, the static block will be executed. These are the simple statements about the static variable. Why use static variable, why use static method, then why use static block. Class student, then is having string name of the student, then integer roll number, then static variable, static string, static string college, okay, because the student is having the two instance variable name and roll number. Another, it is belongs to the static. Why I declared the college as a static variable? Then the Adiraj University is the college. It is a common property of all the students. That's why it can be declared as a static, because the memory will get allocated only once at the time of loading the class to the static variable. But the name and roll number is an instance variable. Whenever the object has created, the memory will be allocated to the name and roll number. Then after that, name equal n, roll number equal r. Static block, or else here instead of this one I want to initialize here static block, then white display, it is the static method, system.out.println, name equal student name equal place name, then after that roll number of a student, . plus roll number, then college, college equal plus college. Then end main method, then class starting example. I want to take the main method in the separate class. Public static void main. Here end class string args here it has two instance variable. One is the static variable. The static variable has installed in the static block. Then it has one parameterized constructor is having the two arguments name and rule number, which are provided from the main method while you creating the object. Then how you can able to create the object to a student class. Then student S1 new student. This is the syntax to create the object, because here we are taking the parameterized constructor. That's why we at the time of creating the object we must provide the two values. First argument is belongs to the what? String. Suppose Mahesh. Then article number is 521. Then after that S1 dot display. Then student S2 new student Suresh. Then 522. Then S2 dot display. Then main method should be closed over, ended over here. The class should be ended over here. In this example, I have to taken two classes. One is the student class, another one the static example class. In the student class, I define the instance variable and methods, and another class static example I have taken the separate main method. Okay. If you want to include the main method within the student class, it is possible. But I want to take the two separate classes. I want to take the separate class for the main method. That's why two classes I am using in this example. Yeah. Here the student S1 is the object. S1 is the object equal to new student. At the time we are providing the two arguments, because the constructor is having the two arguments. First argument is string, the second argument is a integer. For the integer we don't provide any, don't put any double colons. Then here whenever the object is created, here the Mahesh will be stored in the variable m and 521 will be placed in the variable r. Then n should be copied into the name, r should be copied into the roll number. But what is here? S1 object is holding the name and roll number. What is the name is there? Mahesh. Name is initialized with the Mahesh. Roll number is initialized with 521. Then S1 dot display. Then control will comes to over here. Then system dot out dot println. Name equal to name. What is the name? Mahesh should be displayed. Roll number should be system dot println college, because the college is what? College is initialized with the Anurag University. Then it will be, because how when static block will get executed at the time of loading the class. First it will be executed. After that, then remaining method will get executed. That is, please note it down. S1 dot display for name equal to Mahesh will be displayed. Roll number equal to 521 will be displayed. College equal to what? And because it is a common to all the students. Then S2 object has been created. At that time, it is a Suresh. It is 522. Then S2 object, what are the data is there? The name, rule number. Name should be Suresh. Rule number is what? 522. S2 dot display, when you calling the display method by using the S2 object, then name should be Suresh will be displayed. Rule number 522 will be displayed. The college Anurag University will, because the memory will be allocated each and every time to the name. Whenever the first object is created, the memory will be allocated to the name and roll number. Whenever the second object has been created, the memory will be allocated to the name and roll number. But the college as declared as static, but the memory will get allocated only once at the time of loading the class. Got my point? Why we use the static variable? Why use the static method? Because here the static method, we can call the static method with help of the object or without need of the object. Because I want to call the static method by using the class name. Student. Static method can be called without need of an object. The object has been created, but here we are not calling display method by using the object S1 because it belongs to the static method. We can call the static method with help of the class name. Got my point? Either you can call it by using the object also, there is no problem. Previously I called the display method by using the object S1 and S2. At this time I called the display method. I am calling the display method with help of the class name student.display, student.display. This example is about how we use the static keyword with the variable, with the method, and yeah. When you put the static method, if you compile this program, two errors will be displayed. Two errors will be displayed. What are the errors are displayed by this program? Because the static method will access only static members, because the name and rule number is not belongs to the static variables. You are going to get the errors name and rule number, because static method will access only static, what is called static members, which can't access the static method can't access the non-static members. We can static void show or print. Okay. In that one, it is belongs to static method. Then system dot out dot println college equal to what is called plus college. Then here it will be plus. It is belongs to the normal method. It is static method. Then small sentences. S1 dot display, because display is not belongs to the static method. And then class name, because it is belongs to the what? Static method. That's why it can be called with the help of the class name student dot print. Then S2 dot display. Then student dot print. Because previously I written all the statements in here by start, because the display method has declared as static. At that time, name or rule number can't be accessed in the static method. That's why it is now declared as a normal method. the print method is declared as a static. At that time, it is college belongs to the static. That's why there is no problem. It can be accessed college. Okay, but college can't be accessed because name and roll number can't be accessed in the static method. That's why it's written the separate method for the static variable. Okay, whenever s1 dot display, then control will comes to a name and roll number should be displayed. Then print is belongs to the static. Then it will be called with the help of the student dot print. Then the control will comes to here the college, because the college is a common property to all students. Whenever if you does not declare as a static, each time whenever the object has been created, the memory will be allocated to the college also. But it is not required. Each and every time the memory will get allocated to the college. It is not, because it is the only common. Once you declare it is enough. No need to initialize again and again. That's why it can be declared as a static. Okay, this type of example we can able to use the static keyword. Hope it is clear. The static block I am using static variable and static method. Okay, got my point? If you have any doubt regarding the example, please post your query in the comment box only. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel. Okay, thank you one and all for watching my videos.